Good morning everyone and welcome back to a video. I normally say another video. A video just sounded odd. Welcome back to a video. To another video. It sounds better, doesn't it? Anyway, welcome back, or welcome if you are new. Hello, I'm Sarah. I'm looking a bit strange today with the pigtails and then the plaits. These aren't pigtails. Should we take this off? Yeah, let's do that instead. Anyway, hello, welcome. We are doing another lower body workout. This is hard. This is a hard workout, okay? You've been warned. It's a difficult workout. It's not difficult until, well, it is actually. One of the exercises that are in there, it's quite advanced. So if you want to attempt this at any single level, that is completely okay. There are ways to make any exercise easier, 100%. But if you want to do it the same as me and you struggle, please don't feel bad about that. Like I've said, this is a difficult workout. It's completely okay if you struggle. I mean that in every other video that I do as well. No matter what the workout is. Even if I say this is a beginner's workout and you find it difficult, please don't feel bad about that. That's completely okay. Don't feel bad about yourself. Anyway, this workout is still quite short. If you've seen any of my workout videos before, especially my lower body ones, you'll know they're quite short. There's only 4 exercises in this lower body workout, and for me, that's long. Normally I'm only doing 3 exercises, but today it's 4. It's a good workout. I very much enjoy it. I'm not going to talk for ages. I'm just wobbling all over the place now, because I have set up in terms of if I do a workout video, I'll not talk for ages at the beginning, because I know some people just want to be in and out, watch the video, see the workout, and then leave. That's completely okay. After the workout, I will talk through the exercises, form tips, things that you need to know. I'd appreciate if you listen to that, even if that you think you know the exercise is fine, just because there might be something that you've not heard before that really works for me, all that kind of stuff. But if you don't want to watch it, completely up to you. Goodbye. Thank you for watching the workout. That still means a lot to me. But I will go through all of the exercises afterwards. There is one that looks a little bit funky, so you might want to stick around for the explanation of that. But today we are doing a lower body workout. It is difficult in terms of effort, and there's one form difficult exercise. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking. We're going to head to the gym and we're going to do this workout. Okay, so I am back from the gym. I hope we're all right with this kind of lighting situation. It's the only place I can find like light that'll light up my face. And I've got this pretty lighting thing going on as well. Hopefully you can see me. Oakley's crying because I'm talking to no one, as per usual. If you're a subscriber, you will know. Right, let's talk about the workout. This workout didn't go as to plan as I would have liked. It always happens when I am filming that somebody ends up being on a piece of equipment that I need for like 50 minutes. So in the good mornings, when you can see I've put my jumper back on, that is because I had to wait for the rack for literally 40 minutes. So I was cold by the time I could get on it again. So it was a bit stressful, but we're just going to move on. Let's twist you a little bit, shall we? We'll just lean a little bit. Right, okay, so first up, leg press. If you've watched my workout videos before, I'm sure you're sick of seeing it, but I really love leg press, and especially with the heel inserts in. I've mentioned before that I think it would be quite difficult to do the elevated heel without Metcons or lifting shoes, anything that gives you like that lifted heel. But I saw somebody on Instagram using like a platform, and I kind of forgot they exist because my gym doesn't have them. So if your gym has, it kind of looks like a cheese wedge, it's like a triangle. If your gym has one of them, you could very easily use them if you don't have elevated heel shoes. But the elevation in the heel basically just allows the quads to be used a little bit more. That's why I use it. If you want this to be a bit more of like an all-rounder lower body exercise, you don't have to use the heel inserts, but I do this as kind of like a quad heavy exercise. So that's why I have the heel inserts in there. If you want to make it more glute focused, just put your feet further up towards the top of the platform. That goes on another, like the standard machine leg presses as well. Obviously I'm using a decline leg press, but my advice tends to go for the decline. But you can put your feet further up if you want your glutes to be used in the machine ones as well. In terms of just general form tips, make sure your entire foot stays on the platform. Do not let your heel come off the platform or your toes. You want to be pushing through the 3 points of your feet that I talk about quite a lot, and say this is your heel. You want 3 points of your feet in your heel, underneath your big toe, so like the ball of your foot I think it is, and then the edge of your foot. So you want your weight going through those 3 points equally, so make sure your heel doesn't come off. You also want to make sure that your back stays on the pad. So if this is the seat, oh there we go, if this is the seat, you don't want your back like this. You want your back to be fully on the back pad. Don't let yourself get a massive arch. If you have that massive arch there, lower the weight. Or if you are doing that even with just like the starting weight, so like no plates on, because it's still heavy, like it's a heavy machine. Mine starts at 75 kilos, but they vary depending on which machine you've got, but mine starts at 75, so they are heavy. If you can't do it without pushing your back to the back pad, maybe go look for a machine leg press first and work your way up to it, but you really don't want that arch in there. Also try and get as deep as you possibly can. Don't worry too much about it, but depth will play a part, so try and get as deep as you can without it like making like a really loud noise when you get to the bottom. You don't want it to clang, same as any other type of machine. Moving on to hip thrusts. So I am doing pause rep hip thrusts here. This is a lovely transition from going kind of like to what I use as a quad exercise to a glute exercise. It's very nice, and it's also nice doing pause rep because it's not as heavy. There is a reason I do pause rep. I don't like going from a hard exercise to a hard exercise. Don't get me wrong, pause reps are hard, but not in the sense of lifting very heavy weights off the floor. It's more hard is that it burns your booty rather than leg press being like shove the weight kind of thing. So that's why I do pause rep. If you feel like you can do a heavy exercise after a heavy exercise, feel free to do it, but the one that you do first it's always going to be the one that performs better. So if you want to swap it and have hip thrust as your main lift because you want your glutes to work harder, do that. But the way I do it is I like doing the quads and then the glutes, and the glutes are kind of like burning. I do pause rep as well because I'm not very good at locking out my hip thrusts. When I do just normal hip thrusts, I tend not to lock all the way out at the top, so really squeezing my bum. So I use these, I'm using these to basically get that better. I also prefer having it lighter weight because you have to go lighter weight with the pause rep, because I can focus on my form. as long as I've been doing hip thrusts, I've been doing hip thrusts probably since the beginning I started working out. So, well, maybe not the beginning. Since I was about 18, I still really struggle with form. I really would like to be able to do the scoop method. So I like having it lighter weight so I can focus on form a little bit more. Form tips for it: make sure your feet are underneath your knees, so your legs should be that. It's really easy to be like that, so your feet are further out than your knees. Try and get it so your knees are over your heels. Make sure you're going all the way to the top. You really want to squeeze your bum, like you are squeezing your bum. If you are doing the scoop method, you want to imagine that the only thing that is driving your bum from the floor to the top of the movement is squeezing your bum and curling it under. If you don't know what the scoop method is, basically there are two different ways you can hip thrust. There is the scoop method, and then just kind of like, I can't remember what the name of it is, but it's kind of more like a hinging, rather than like, if you imagine the scooping method is what it sounds like, you're scooping your butt up and kind of like imagine your pelvis scooping up off the floor. Whereas the other method, can't remember the name of it, you're literally just like going up and down. And Brett Contreras, mention him all the time, on my lower body, the glute guy, he recommends scoop method for glute development. So that's kind of the difference between the two. It's up to you, figure out which one you like. But if you're doing the scoop method, make sure that it's squeezing underneath. If you're doing the hinging method, that's what I'm gonna call it. If you're doing the hinging method, you still need to squeeze your bum. Your bum is still the main thing that is doing the work on this exercise. But for both of them, at the top, they need to be squeezed. We are doing pause reps here. So you need to be pause reps whilst it's squeezed. Please don't just be holding yourself at the top with relaxed glutes. There's no point. You're squeezing them. I do it for 3. It's up to you how long you want to do it for. If you want it to be harder, do it for 5. You can do it all the way up to 10. I wouldn't. 3 is enough for me. But I do it for 3 and then coming back down. The other thing I would say, I'm sorry if you're sick of hearing about this, because hip thrust is another one that's kind of been all the way through, is make sure the bench is at the correct height for you. You want to be able to fully lock out your hips on a straight line from your sternum to your hips. If you can't get a straight line, your bench is too high. That's why I use the like aerobic steps, because I can like bring it down. The benches in my gym that are kind of like in the weights area are way too high. I can't, like, my body's like this rather than like a straight line. So try and find somewhere that is the right height for you, rather than just trying to make do with the bench, because you're not going to get full lockout and it's going to be not as great with the glutes. Okay, this last one is where it went wrong for me today, but it's also the hardest bit of it. This is meant to be a superset. I couldn't perform as a superset today because somebody was on the rack for like an hour, and that's not even an exaggeration. So I did it one after the other, but it's meant to be a superset. This is up to you as to whether you feel comfortable with doing this with a superset, because if you are new to the gym or not as confident in the gym, it does require you having 2 things in use at the gym. So that can either be the Smith machine, which is what I use, or if you have a proper apparatus for sissy squats, which is the first exercise, and then you also need a rack if you are like wanting to use a rack, or a barbell. You need to decide whether that's something that you feel comfortable with. If not, that's fine. Do it what I did today, where you just do the exercise and then do the other exercise. But to make this very, very difficult and also save some time, do it as a superset, because it feels very, very good. Because sissy squats, the first exercise, is a very, very quad dominant exercise. It's mainly only your quads. Then you go to good mornings, which is the other side of your body, so it pairs really, really nicely. But if you don't feel comfortable with it, that's completely okay. You're still hitting those movements. It just might take a little bit longer. So let's talk about sissy squats. Sissy squats is the hard exercise that I was talking about at the beginning of this video. It's a bit more advanced. It takes a little bit of getting used to. Like I've just mentioned, there is a proper apparatus for it in the gym. If you have seen something that has like a thing at the bottom for your feet and then a pad, that's probably there for sissy squats. But I don't have that at my gym, but I've been wanting to try them. So I made my own little way with the Smith machine. If you couldn't see it very clearly in the video, basically what I do is I put the Smith machine on the second lowest setting. That'll differ for everybody, like everybody. You want the pad to kind of be behind your knees, but I put it on the lowest setting. I put my barbell pad over top of the Smith machine, and then I get 2 16 dumbbells and put them on my feet. It does hurt a little bit, but not a lot. It's basically just, if you have somebody there to hold your feet, you can do that too. But when I have Hannah with me, she actually holds the dumbbells for me as well, just to give me that extra sense of security. You just need something to hold your feet so that when you squat down onto the Smith machine, you aren't going to fall backwards, because that's basically, you're putting all your weight back. So you need something to be holding you at the front. I use 216 dumbbells and that works for me. Obviously it's going to depend on how heavy you weigh for how much weight you need. But if you think that you look about the same size as me, 16 might be all right for you. But I would definitely say over-egg it. Don't under-egg it and then realize that you're just going to backwards. Always do a test rep. Especially if you use weight, you could do it with 1 rep body weight, but then once you add some weight in, it might be too much and you might fall backwards. So always do a test rep where you take it very, very slow. And if you have someone there, it's even better. But just make sure that you have the right weight like hanging over your feet to make sure you don't fall backwards. For loading this up, you can 100% use anything. You could use a barbell on your back, you could use a kettlebell, you could use 2 dumbbells. I prefer 1 dumbbell. I'm still learning this exercise, so I find that 1 dumbbell is the best way for me, and I like the way it holds. I'm not a big fan of kettlebells for goblet stuff. I just really don't like, I think it's my nails, I just don't like the way it feels when I hold it. So I like to use 1 dumbbell, hold it at the ends and hold it in a goblet position, but load it up however you want. But like I've said, this is a hard exercise, so if you feel like you can't load it up yet, that is fine. It's quite difficult. It looks a bit funny, but they are so good for the quads. Like, they're very, very good for the quads. The only thing I would say is take it very, very slow on the way down for the first few times so you can get used to the movement. It's very easy to kind of like, instead of sitting back into a squat, to just hinge and do like an RDL. That's not what we were wanting. They're sissy squats. You want to squat down rather than hinging. So just take it nice and slow so you can get used to the movement. Then once you feel more comfortable, go a little bit quicker. But all the way through, I would say go slower than what you would on another like exercise. Instead of calling it like a tempo rep, I'd probably go down for maybe like 2 rather than 1 that I would for like different exercises. But that makes me feel like my quads better, so I'm happy with that. Then second exercise we superset it with is good mornings. I rediscovered these recently and freaking love them. They are just a hip hinge movement. So if you prefer to swap this out with RDLs or stiff leg deadlifts, that's completely okay. But good mornings are where the barbell is on your back and you're pushing your bum back. You aren't trying to get as low as possible. I feel like good mornings are one of those ones you do them and you feel how you feel with them. The tips that I have for it is try and not keep your chest up. If you keep your chest up and like looking at the mirror at yourself, your back is going to completely overarch. And with these, a little bit of an arch is fine, but we don't want a massive overarch. So try not to keep your chest up, keep it in line. So you want a line between your bum, your upper back and your head to be a nice straight line. Keeping your chest up is going to make that difficult. So try and keep that straight line, including your head. I'm terrible at this. I'll always like bend my neck up. Try and keep your head in that line as well. The movement is essentially just pulling your hips back, but you need to remember that this is a glute exercise. So to get yourself back up, don't just run through the motions. Don't just be like, right, I'm going up and down and up and down. When you are at the back, think about your glutes pulling you up. The prompt that works really well with me is think about your upper glutes pulling you up. So squeeze the top, like the very top of your bum, like back kind of territory. Squeeze that up. That is what is pulling you up. You might feel this in your hamstrings because it's a nice big stretch. Also, when I do this in a superset, I actually also feel it in my quads because like it's kind of like stretching them back as well. That's completely okay, but this is kind of like a glute dominant exercise. So use your bum to pull you up straight. That's what this exercise is. And that is all the exercises in this workout. Few tips that I say for every single workout is do the reps that feel comfortable for you for the weight that you are doing. That is the reason that I don't put this in. I just put my sets in. Sets are very, very relative to the rest of the week that you are doing. The sets that I am doing in this workout, I can do because of the sets that I'm doing in another workout. If you want to know more about that, I will leave a link to the video where I tell you how to create your own plan. I talk about it in there, like how many sets you need to be doing for the week. But that's what I mean by that. You need to make sure that you're doing the right amount of sets throughout the week rather than just in this one session. So reps don't really matter that much. Just do however many reps that you feel comfortable with the weight. Make sure you are giving yourself enough rest. You want to do, if you are looking to gain muscle, which is what the majority of my content is aimed towards, make sure you have 2 minutes or more. If you're doing big heavy squats, please have more. You want 2 minutes type of rest. And then third, just think about your effort. If you're wanting to do muscle gain, you want 1 to 5 reps left in the tank for the majority of the exercise. You can go to failure on a few exercises, that's fine, but don't be going to failure on everything. You want to be 1 to 5 reps away from proper failure, as in like you can't lift it kind of failure, not it burns, or I'm sick of it, or I'm bored. Like as in like, I literally can't move this way anymore. That's where we want to be. Anyway, that is the workout. I'm sorry I've talked for just ages. I apologize. I just want to make sure everybody understands the exercise as well. If you have any questions, please just let me know. I hope I explained it well enough that there aren't any questions, but if there are, more than happy to answer them. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to leave the video a like. I've said it before, but fitness content doesn't always do the best in this. If you are new, please make sure to subscribe. I am trying to hit 2,500 by the end of the year, so every little helps. Please help me get there. I'm gonna do it, but even if you don't do any of that stuff, thank you for watching, but I hope I will see you in another video. Bye.